The Jeffrey Epstein scandal has ensnared some of the most powerful men in the world, but not all connections are created equal. When will we learn, America? Salim Yelnats back at you today, with more of the fallout for Epstein. Let's get it. Today, we're comparing two of the most famous names linked to Epstein, US President Donald Trump and a British royal, Prince Andrew. While both knew Epstein, the nature of their relationships, the evidence against them, and the consequences they faced are dramatically different. Let's break down the facts. Donald Trump's association with Jeffrey Epstein was primarily during the 1990s and early 2000s. They were fixtures in the same wealthy social circles of New York and Palm Beach. The evidence shows they attended parties together, and that Trump flew on Epstein's private jet on several occasions. However, these flights were domestic, mainly between New York and Florida, or so they say. Crucially, no evidence, not in flight logs, victim testimony, or unsealed documents, has ever placed Donald Trump on Epstein's private island in the Caribbean, the center of his sex trafficking operation. He has not been accused of any crime or wrongdoing by any of Epstein's victims. Trump's name has been scrubbed from the files. His DOJ has denied Congress the truth. In fact, the association soured. Trump has stated publicly that he had a falling out with Epstein in the mid-2000s and banned him from his Mar-a-Lago club, years before Epstein's first arrest. While the social connection is documented, it did not lead to any legal action or official consequences for Trump yet. But a change gonna come. Epstein was arrested on Trump's watch and jailed on Trump's watch, sentenced on Trump's watch, and killed on Trump's watch. It wasn't a suicide. Look at the marks around the ears. It's a catch-your-breath moment. Andrew Mountbatten Windsor is the first senior member of the royal family in modern history to have been arrested. Prince Andrew's connection to Epstein was not a casual acquaintance. It was a close personal friendship that spanned decades. Andrew hosted Epstein at royal residences, including Windsor Castle and Balmoral. He stayed at Epstein's New York mansion, and, most importantly, he did visit Epstein's private island. Unlike Trump, Andrew's friendship continued along with Ludnick, Gates, and others even after Epstein was a convicted sex offender. He was famously photographed with Epstein in Central Park in 2010, 2 years after Epstein's first conviction for soliciting a minor. This leads to the most critical difference. Prince Andrew was directly accused of sexual assault by one of Epstein's most prominent victims, Virginia Giuffre. She alleged that Epstein forced her to have sex with the prince on 3 occasions, starting when she was 17. The existence of a photo showing Andrew with Giuffre became a central piece of the public case against him. The consequences for Prince Andrew have been severe and lasting. After a disastrous BBC interview where he failed to show remorse for his friendship with Epstein, he was forced to step back from public duties. He was later stripped of his military titles and royal patronages by the late Queen Elizabeth II. He ultimately settled the civil lawsuit with Virginia Giuffre for a reported multi-million-dollar sum, though he did not admit guilt. So, let's be clear. Trump has 34 convictions. While both men's names are linked to Jeffrey Epstein, the documented facts paint two very different pictures. Donald Trump's connection was a social association that ended years before the main scandal broke. There is no evidence of criminal involvement or direct accusations against him here. But ask Stormy Daniels and E. Jean Carroll. Prince Andrew's was a long-term, close friendship that continued after Epstein's conviction. It included a documented visit to his private island. It led to a direct accusation, a civil settlement, and public disgrace. When discussing Epstein, these distinctions are everything. So, let's be clear. While both men's names are linked to Jeffrey Epstein, the documented facts paint two very different pictures. Donald Trump's connection was a social association that ended years before the main scandal broke, with no evidence of criminal involvement or direct accusations. Here are the most notable Department of Justice departures based on public reporting. Antitrust Division shakeup, February 2026. Abigail Slater, the Assistant Attorney General for Antitrust, resigned after the White House reportedly requested her departure amid internal disagreements over merger enforcement, including cases involving Live Nation, Ticketmaster, and Netflix Warner Bros. Discovery. Her deputy, Mark Hamer, had also left the agency just days earlier. Thursday Night Massacre, February 2025. A total of at least 10 federal prosecutors resigned in protest over orders to drop the federal corruption case against New York City Mayor Eric Adams. Southern District of New York. Acting U.S. Attorney Danielle Sassoon and Assistant U.S. Attorney Hagen Scotton resigned immediately. Public Integrity Section. 5 officials from the DOJ's Public Integrity Section in Washington, D.C. resigned rather than carry out the order. This included the acting head of the Criminal Division, Kevin Driscoll, and the acting chief of Public Integrity, John Keller. Later resignations. In April 2025, 3 more prosecutors from the Adams case, Celia V. Cohen, Andrew Rohrbach, and Derek Wickstrom, resigned after stating they were being pressured to falsely admit to misconduct. Civil Rights Division, ongoing. Since January 2025, the Civil Rights Division has seen an exodus of over 250 attorneys, roughly 70% of its lawyers, who have left, been reassigned, or taken deferred resignations. This follows the appointment of a new division head who has shifted priorities. The White House turnover in President Trump's second term appears lower than in his first term, but several key officials have still departed. Sergio Gore, Director of the Office of Presidential Personnel, an unnamed aide to National Security Advisor Michael Waltz. In addition, President Trump has fired several agency heads and inspectors general since January 2025, including the IRS Commissioner and the CDC Director. Other notable resignations. Louis DeJoy resigned as U.S. Postmaster General in March 2025. The total number? As of today, the total number of notable resignations is at least 265. Prince Andrew's was a long-term close friendship that continued after Epstein was a convicted criminal, involved a visit to the island, and led to a direct accusation of sexual assault, a multi-million-dollar legal settlement, and the effective end of his public life. This isn't just about a clown and a president in a rain-slicked alley. This is about the stories hidden in the shadows, the truths whispered in the dark, and the power of those who dare to reveal them. It's about the fight for transparency and the desperate efforts to keep secrets buried. What do you think is inside that glowing USB drive? What secrets are being exchanged that could shake the foundations of power? Don't just watch the drama unfold. Demand to know what's real. Like this video if you believe in the power of truth, no matter how bizarre the circumstances. Share it with someone who needs to see the masks behind the headlines. And subscribe to our channel to stay ahead of the game, because we'll keep digging, even if it means following the clowns into the deepest, darkest alleys. The circus of truth is just beginning. Join us.